What's up, y'all? Man, putting up these videos, bro, is not really my thing. But um, I will say this, man. As I grow, I share as I grow, and listen, um, this world, okay, this world you were once a part of, physical, your ways of thinking and everything else like that was completely dense, carnal, fleshly, physical. Then all of a sudden you become aware, you become more spiritual. One account of those who don't follow Christ will say it's a blessing from Adam. And they consider it to be intelligence. Not knowing the wiser that there are higher things. And what happened is when you grow spiritually, you became aware of higher things. And in your awareness of higher things, you were met with so-called dues, ELF, what have you. These are spiritual attacks that people generally don't recognize until it's too late. There are physical causalities for a heart attack, but there could be spiritual ones as well. You see what I'm saying? And by the time someone who is physical, that thinks physically, notice a physical thing, a lot of times it could be too late. You see, when things reach down into the physical, you're experiencing a symptom. Things must be introduced to the physical realm from the spiritual realm first. So if you pertain to your fixing, you pertain to the spiritual world. You can do self-help and what have you. But in your efforts of self-help, you're only as good as your last best day. A lot of brothers into semen retention and things like that. You guys, I ain't perfect. I tell you guys too much information all the time. Quite frankly, I don't have a filter. I think I'm too honest. But the fact of the matter is semen retention, you guys, over time and the ways of this world and what have you, all the things, you will go crazy. All right? You're going to go crazy. I ain't going to lie to you. Some days I can't even focus or concentrate unless I absolve some things. I ain't saying they're the right things to do. I acknowledge my sin. I ask for forgiveness. I practice, but I don't get discouraged. The fact of the matter is the price that Christ paid for you in this world and what we recognize that nobody gives a fuck about you. It's something that we would wish to pay back like our college debt, but we never can. And that's the truth, because everybody wants to claim themselves to be righteous. On one level, we say targeting is not what I deserve. But how do you know you don't deserve targeting? Is that your analysis in comparison to the people who are around you who are not going through targeting? See, maybe targeting is something that you exactly deserve. Your awareness has expanded. You're on a spiritual level now. This is not to say that it is something that God would give to you. This is more of a situation of God saying, this right here, this is that shit I was talking about in Genesis, in the Garden of Eden. This shit right here is exactly why the others are not targeted. Many of them are content, satisfied with physicality in the physical or the carnal ways of thinking. But in relativity, you are not satisfied. You are still seeking to grow. Not that something is particularly wrong with you or anything like that right now, but you are still seeking to grow. There's a shepherd, and a shepherd has dogs. so that when sheep separate from the bunch, the dog will come and corral that sheep back with the group. Now, in essence, you could say those are like angels. Not that angels are dogs, but the functionality of the job is the same. People are complicated, unpredictable, right? To keep you in your path. So not every time somebody jars you or says something to you is meant to affect you in the way that you take it. You understand? And you guys, I'm sorry. I know you watch these videos and shit, and you like, some people may wonder to themselves, I wonder why he does this thing. You want to know why? That's a spiritual download. That's something that just came down. And you see that? And it hits me so hard it goes into my mind. I know people don't fuck with my videos, but if you did, let me tell you something, man. You're going to be thinking a lot different. I ain't talking about nothing that nobody else is talking about in church or anywhere else. The reason this has happened to you might not be because you deserve it, but you might be on the front line. You might be a pioneer stepping. All right? Some first fruits, and then other people will come through and you'll be able to help them on their way, on their course of dealing and managing with this stress, because we see what people do when they are unable to handle stress. And I'm not just talking about targeting, but when you get into like these mass shooters that are happening, things like that. Guys, take for instance, like, remember how I don't know, for anybody that's watched the video, the last video I said to you guys, this shooter in Buffalo, pegged as a white supremacist, went to a random town in a random store. Guys, you cannot predict chaos. It's not gematria or the numbers. But it is exactly what it is. Unpredictable, a mystery. The numbers are not the causality of the event. The numbers are the description, the USB code on the back of an item of when something happened. You're looking at spiritual data. All right? It aligns, the situation aligns, all right, with those numbers and what have you. But it is not the causality. Don't lose your head out here. You still got free will. Just because some numbers come up don't mean you're going to do something. That's the power of God's sovereignty and the Holy Spirit that's in you. A lot of people want to claim themselves to be righteous. I'm targeted. I don't deserve it. But then again, I exactly do. I don't like it. A lot of people want to consider themselves to be righteous. A lot of people are self-righteous in churches accidentally. Doesn't mean they're not good people. See, the fact of the matter is this, you guys. Everybody wants to be able, have the ability, be able, as in Genesis, be considered righteous. But righteousness is not accounted exactly by you being perfect in your physicality. It's a heart situation. So you work with internal structures in the matters of your heart and your thoughts. You know to divide your thoughts from the rest of the hive. That's what you're getting hit with, not do weapons. And the strength and concentration of one's thoughts does affect you. You being targeted and taking on so much energy. Look at how much energy you have now in comparison to before you've been targeted. I bet you it's a lot stronger. I bet your thoughts are a lot more focused, concise. People have passing thoughts through their mind. Think of radio frequencies and Wi-Fi. You can move out of bounds. But you got the Holy Spirit inside you that encompasses the world. You concentrate a thought strong enough, things could potentially have effects. So you have to be careful with your intentions. Now, on that video, I said at the end of it, I said, this guy may have been a white supremacist, but he was not exactly targeting black people. I don't believe that. Not in a different town at a random store. I need more information than that. The gear he wore was, I'm sure he was planning for something, but not to be a mass shooter, you guys. He just used it in that event. See, he got struck by that arrow. the hunter, the rider on the white horse with the bow, is the Antichrist. And when he got possessed, that's what he did. But was it the native ego of the physical man that was before? No. It's the spirits that dwell within, and he didn't have the firewall. He didn't have the Holy Spirit. So therefore, the numbers go accordingly. But if you concentrate on a thought strong enough, you got to be careful. And this is what I mean. Like I told you guys in several of my other videos, the more I'm isolated, the stronger my thoughts. And I presented at that video, if this guy was specifically going to target black people, why wouldn't he have picked a church or something? And I was just saying that randomly because that's where we hang out at. That's the truth. And then today I turn on YouTube and guess what? In California or LA or something like that, I said that yesterday on a video. Today in California, somebody went into church and shot it up. Now, I haven't had the chops to go and look at and observe it yet because, man, I feel kind of bad about that. You got to be careful with the words you speak or what goes out into the air. I ain't saying that I caused it or it's a part of gematria or I had intention to. I was just saying, why didn't he do that? And then somebody did that today. The Antichrist is also watching you along with God. Not every person you meet is the enemy. A lot of times, you guys, you have met angels unawares and they said something to jar you. Guys, angels are not robots. They have personalities and sense of humor. To speak to you on something personal, but not so personal that they intrude in your privacy, considers the fact that that individual knows you very well. Ever think about that shit? Because nobody else gives a fuck about you. A demon is taking selfies. Okay? This is a narcissistic culture. So nobody's going to give a fuck about you. If they don't give a fuck about you, they don't. If they have enmity and they hate you, then they do. Now you are being targeted and there are demons, but you are recognizing the spiritual warfare that's happening around you. Work on your thoughts, work on your heart. And it will manifest, it will change what's outside of you. The more you're aligned, the more powerful your words are. By faith, the Most High said that we could move mountains. So I'm getting this out to you, brothers and sisters, today, man. There's a spirit in this earth that is set to confuse and divide. Because we know divide and conquer. The tactics are the same. So therein, that what you experience and you project onto others, don't project onto others how they have projected onto you. Now you're a part of the hive and a part of the problem, a part of the echo chamber, a part of the situation. What steps need to be taken in first? Got to learn how to control your emotions. Got to be more resilient. That shooter in Buffalo, New York, he probably had strong emotions that he could not control. And those thoughts overtook his mind. It's like Agent Smith in The Matrix when he takes over a body. So I say that, you guys, because you got to work on the spiritual thing first. All these thoughts passing around, okay? I could tell you this. I've been isolated so long and so focused that when somebody comes to me or I watch videos on YouTube, I can tell, even though I don't know, I can tell who's watched a little bit of my video. They say things that they would not say. They use words that are outside of their structure. That's the Holy Spirit, you guys. That doesn't, I don't care. I give a damn. I don't want nobody mentioned. I don't care, bro. I want people to get the message. I don't care about views. 1 million niggas could watch this video. There might be only 2 or 3 that get it. I only need 2 or 3 views. That's just how I roll, man. And I want y'all to be careful out there, man. The more something is set upon you to divide, the more you should be speaking peace. The quicker you should be to forgive. That's how you combat this thing. For all you know, some of those thoughts that are being projected out of your mind, whether you're consciously thinking of them or not, people are picking up on that. They had a hunch or a thought and they came and talked to you about it. Really in question, kind of awkward, but still presented it. Some of these people are being honest. Those who don't give a fuck about you wouldn't even ask. Work on your internal structure, the astral realm, the so-called